Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. It's my second channel, daily vlog channel. It's the Daily Woo.
It's like an old church building here. Pretty awesome looking. I tried opening the front door to go in, but it wasn't accessible. The name of this area is Old Cahaba, and it's the original state capital of Alabama. These blue bottles on the tree, according to Joey, what was the reason you were saying the blue bottles were for?
Keep spirits away. They
To
get
keep
in
the
bottles and they don't go in the house.
I got a couple tour guides, local tour guides from this neck of the woods.
Not all the historic roadways are opened. Only the roads in Brown are opened. And for the most part, they're dirt roads, as you guys know. You can drive on them, walk on them. I've seen horseback riders on the weekends. Shows the largest city, our capital, was carved out of the wilderness, completely built from scratch. And 1817 is the earliest map we have of this area, and that lays out the case pretty clearly. Brick recycled, taken away, like so many other structures, and only the columns were left. Now the air conditioning part is the artesian well out back. And you can see from the brick rubble, the well was literally steps from the building. In fact, that well is sitting out front here.
Oh, it's out the window?
Yeah, that's the one right there.
It is pretty cool that they have a chunk of the piece of metal itself still here, a little piece of history. There's a marker here in the middle. The inscription says Cahaba, first state capital, and you'll notice sometimes it's spelled without a W and sometimes with a W, and it was only the capital for about 7 or 8 years. Welcome to downtown, and none of these structures really remain anymore, but they would have stood right in this area here. Alabama's first state house, built in 1819 and destroyed in 33, stood right here. And there's no photos of it, but there is a little relic. Looks to be the old well. It has a mesh metal gate over the top of it that someone has ripped through. The church that we saw when we first entered the property used to reside in this spot here, and they have marked it with these boards showing where it used to sit. I noticed there is a metal railing here tucked away in the woods. Curious what this might be. Oh wow, it's an old grave. Check this out. The grave of Mary Eliza Perine. She passed away in 1838, and it's inscribed, "All that's bright must fade." One of the old chimneys still out here, the rest of the building gone. The chimney still remains. And if you look through the trees, you can barely see some water back there. That's the Alabama River. You can see the foundation there underneath the soil. And there's a brick, and over here you can see a little concrete. Oh wait, that's not concrete. That's a tree stump. You have to look very closely to find some of the remains. But it is pretty fascinating to stumble on this stuff. And here's a better view of the river. On January 20th, 1865, Major Hanchett led a daring but unsuccessful escape from the military prison that was located on this very spot. They later found him while he was eating breakfast, murdered him, and his body is out here somewhere, never found. Also from this spot, some of the prisoners were released right from this area, and they boarded this boat, which tragically was referred to as the Sultan disaster, a steamboat. And look what happened. You get out of prison, and you're basically rewarded with that. That's no good. Still considered one of the worst maritime disasters in U.S. history. I bet you're wishing you had a hoodie on right now, aren't you? Don't you? It is a little chilly. Not quite. It's a little cold. It's a little cold out here.
I'm enjoying my hoodie.
Most of the roads out here are unpaved. And Alabama clay. The hole that was once a row, which is another word for basically a shopping center, 1822, and directly above it you can see the pillars there of one of the former structures. Look at those. Very fascinating. And look at all the rubble down here. Look at all the bricks. This is pretty cool. Wow. All the history. Oh, check out this can. Wow. That is pretty neat. This was known as the Crocheron Mansion. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And you can see the pillars that are still standing here all these years later. This is also where two separate rivers meet. This is the Cahaba, and this is the Alabama. And this is where they connect, right there. What'd you say? You can just hear the banjos?
Yeah.
Did you bring a banjo with you?
No, I didn't.
Set a spell and drink us a mint julep.
That's a sweet tea.
If they had mint juleps here, that would really,
That's
that would seal the deal for me. This would make it a day never to be forgotten.
Sit on the porch and smell the old magnolias.
This door is awesome. It even has the ambiance of the creaking sound.
This house isn't haunted, it's missing a good opportunity.
I can feel it getting colder by the minute. Another fireplace there off in the distance. And also, speaking of fire, looks like one was started right here. I think there's some, I gotta be careful though. I think there's some wild animals out here. If you listen closely, you can hear them. You guys hear those wild animals? Did you guys hear the wild animals out here? Let's get out of here.
Go, I think.
If you look really closely, you can see a little embankment there. The tracks are gone, but that's where the railroad used to roll through town. Right there in that wooded area.
They had a white car, and they'd parked, they were looking around the cemetery, they heard children laughing, and when they came back to the car, there were handprints all over the car.
Oh my gosh. That's creepy. There are a couple of cemeteries here in town. They refer to this one as the New Cemetery. And by new, created in 1851. You can see a lot of the gravestones deteriorated. That one has no top on it whatsoever. Wrought iron fence around this section. And this entire headstone has fallen and broken. It almost looks like the caskets have been removed from here. And I'm wondering if when they did that, if there were some spectators, because they have some bleachers over here. It's very unusual to see bleachers in an old cemetery like this. And I was just informed that they do a haunted ghost tour, and that's what are you enjoying the haunted ghost tour? One thing I really love is old wrought iron fence. Oh, check it out. Looks like that tree was struck by lightning.
The survivors were exonerated in a court of law, but judging from the inscription, not in the eyes of the Bell family.
Oh, right here, down here. Something about a murderer.
Yeah,
No murderer.
No murderer hath eternal life. So they're basically, that's their way of saying he's guilty.
Abiding in time.
That's not something you want on your gravestone. Now this particular well has been decorated with bricks all around it, and you can see the stream that flows from right down there.
Oh, wow.
So this is where that pillar back there at the entrance was?
Yeah, that metal pillar.
That's where it stood.
That's where
It was stanchioned right there.
And this
In
is
the ground.
This is the remnants of his home. And he had lined his home with pipes with the water that stayed constant 74 degrees.
And that's why they say this was one of the first air-conditioned homes in Alabama. It's not cold. It's cold. It's not hot, but it's not cold. It's kind of lukewarm. Take a dip in there. I didn't bring my swim trunks. Another impromptu spirit bottle tree tucked away in the corner here as well. Oh, that's just you. You were making that animal call earlier too, weren't you? You fooled me. You fooled me once. Fool me. What's the saying? Fool me once. Fool me twice. Man, you're such a trickster. And according to the sign, when it was built, when it was drilled, it was the deepest known well in the world. An estimated 1,250 gallons per minute from a depth of 700 to 900 feet. This is the old Methodist church Built in 1849. You gonna shove a stick in there?
Stick in this thing.
Oh yeah. That'd be too cold.
They're feeling the draft now. They're probably.
Oh yeah, it's definitely ants. You can see where they have dug through it,
Oh
but
yeah.
they're way deep down in the
They're
ground.
underground.
Too cold. Too cold for the ants. This was at one point the one-room schoolhouse. Little house on the prairie style. Whoa, the spider dangling right here. You think they would have used McGuffey readers in here? Did you ever use McGuffey readers?
McGuffey readers.
Are you just saying you know what that is, or do you really know what it is?
No idea.
Parts of an old hornet's nest. Definitely keep that away from Macaulay Culkin. He does not like those things. Did you just find the natural outhouse?
I did.
So that was where that's where they use the facilities.
Yep.
Right in there.
Right in there.
Well, that looks painful. Someone has emitted a stick from their nether regions. We're gonna get a little bit better look at this camper tucked away back here. I'm not sure if anyone's living in it currently or not. Someone's been sleeping in here. If you look closely on the ground, you can see the foundations of a house that was here. And the guy that lived here was nicknamed the Duke of Cahaba. And you can see what it looked like back in its heyday. That's him doing some pecan farming, and here's an artist rendition of him.
Did you hear it?
No.
There's a gobble.
Do it again. I'm not hearing
I
anything.
didn't hear it that time. He's gobbling from over there.
Do it one more time. You're just messing with me now. You're just messing with my head. But there is a buzzard up there in that tree. What are you doing up there? What are you doing up there? I see you. I'm watching you. I think he's probably watching me more than I'm watching him, though. He's got the... Oh, there he goes. There he goes. There he goes. Hitchcock would be proud. Check out these thorns right here. This bush, very prickly bush with very intense thorns. Might be hard to see it on video, but this whole center section next to the pathway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably a dozen unmarked graves right in here. And then where there are markers, completely unlegible. This looks like another tree that was struck by lightning. You can see how it's been charred and burned out down the middle.
And this is Spanish moss. This is the area's Black Belt area of Alabama known for the Spanish moss.
So I've heard that you kind of use that as like to cure ailments, right? You take that and you rub it on your face.
Rub it on your face.
You rub it on your face. Show me how.
It kills. Yeah, I'm not doing
What do you think's more dangerous, the moss or those thorns?
that. I would say the moss.
I think you're right. Seems legit. And this is what is known as the face well, because if you look very closely where the little spigot area is, there's a face engraved on it and a date stamp of 1852. What the heck? Why is there a face on this well? Any idea why it's called the face well, besides being a face on there?
It was a mystic cedar maze, and supposedly it was haunted by a ball of light. And you can ride out here at nighttime and see a ball of light.
So if you were out here at night on the horizon, you would see
a ball of light.
an orb, like a orby light.
Like an orb, yes.
Out here in the trees. It's a pretty famous ghost story in this neck of the woods, right? You said it was mentioned in a book that you have?
Book 13 Alabama Ghosts.
Ghost.
Never seen anything like this, especially out kind of in the middle of nowhere. A face in a well. I gotta get a selfie. I just gotta get a selfie with it. I gotta get a selfie there with it. Oh, it's got like an echo when you get close to him. That's kind of creepy. You can, hello! Oh, there's the light right there. Your phone's haunted. Your phone's haunted. There's an owl up in the tree. There he goes. You scared him off.
Sorry.
Call him again. Call him one more time. One more time.
Yeah, shut up.
Vlog over.